While the Trump administration is going full speed ahead with fossil fuel extraction, some states are going in a different direction. A new poll shows that a whopping 71% of Maryland voters support doubling the state's commitment to wind and solar power. Maryland's Republican Governor Larry Hogan recently signed a fracking ban, and the Maryland Public Service Commission is now considering 2 proposals for new offshore wind farms. Maryland would be the first state in the U.S. to embrace this technology on a large scale. The company Deepwater Wind is proposing to build 15 turbines off the coast of Ocean City. Another company, U.S. Wind, is proposing a larger farm with 187 turbines, which could be completed by year 2022. Both companies say they will build manufacturing facilities in Baltimore County's Sparrow's Point, the historically industrial neighborhood that was home to the now-defunct Bethlehem Steel Mill, which once employed thousands.
The community was widespread, dependent upon those jobs there at Bethlehem Steel. When they left, it pretty much devastated the city.
Many advocates, like Lakeisha Green, see the potential to bring back jobs to a community that's still reeling from the effects of deindustrialization.
Now, to know that we have an opportunity to bring back the wealth that it brought to having good paying jobs can bring to a city is an awesome opportunity, that would allow me as a single parent, and a lot of other single parents that I know out here, an opportunity to actually be able to pay your bills and have benefits to take care of your children when they get sick and have those insurance in place.
It would bring jobs to the Eastern Shore, it would bring jobs to Ocean City, it would bring jobs to Baltimore City, where the first manufacturing plant for offshore wind turbines in the United States could be built.
Clean Water Action's Jennifer Kunze says the project would not only serve as a job creator, but also provide a path to a clean energy future.
Offshore wind is this tremendous opportunity for Maryland to both fight climate change in a really real way. This is also an opportunity to move away from methods of producing our energy that have tremendously worse impacts than offshore wind.
Environmental Integrity Project attorney Leah Kelly says that Baltimore residents would have much to gain from a clean energy transition.
Baltimore City has over twice the state average rate for asthma, between 2 to 3 times, depending on the year, the number of asthma hospitalizations. And so, especially for this area, transitioning to green energy and transitioning to a green energy economy is really, really critical.
At a Maryland Public Service Commission hearing on March 30th, every person who testified was in support of the project, including union members, elected officials, and youth.
We know that wind power offers incredible economic and health benefits. Some of my colleagues have talked to you already about the potential economic benefits this new technology and manufacturing offers. Baltimore was a center for industry. I'm sure you all know this. We were makers, not takers. Baltimore was a bold builder of things and goods. Baltimore was a place where everyone once had a job. We can be that place again. I believe that the wind power manufacturing plant can help us get back to where we were, help us get our groove back for the people of our region.
Every child will be affected by climate change. By 2100, the projected temperature will be 3 to 12 degrees higher, with much more frequent natural disasters such as droughts or hurricanes. Maybe you think that's not a big deal, but I don't want to live in a world with coastal flooding from ice caps melting, hurricanes, droughts from climate change, earthquakes from fracking. We need to switch to more sustainable energy like wind to make sure that our lives, us, children's lives, do not turn into dystopian stories. I feel like we are the Titanic, sinking as we speak.
But some have raised concerns that offshore wind farms will hurt tourism for communities that heavily rely on it, like Ocean City, Maryland. Ocean City Councilman Matt James told OC Today, quote, "We have a lot of waterfront properties in Ocean City, and a lot of people come to enjoy the view. I just think at night, with the red flashing lights during the day, 187 wind turbines will negatively impact that view." Councilman Dennis Dare added, quote, "If even a small percentage of our visitors dislike the look of this, it can be a big loss." Developer U.S. Wind has since addressed these concerns in a recent statement, which said that they will work to shift the location of the wind farm 5 miles further offshore, which U.S. Wind says would reduce the visibility of the turbines by more than 35%.
But I do think it is much better to look at your energy source than to dump on your children.
We spoke with Dr. Arjun Makhijani, an independent analyst and president of the Institute for Energy and Environmental Research.
We do that with coal mining, we do that with oil and gas, we do that with fracking, we do that with nuclear. So just because you're not seeing the impact doesn't excuse it. Renewable energy is not an end in itself, but we're trying to be light on the earth.
The $1.9 billion subsidy for the project is estimated to increase consumers' electricity bills by $1.50 a month. Makhijani says the state of Maryland should reconsider a proposal that limits consumer energy bills to 6% of their income. Such a proposal was rejected in 2012.
It was thought to be too expensive, but I think it was not a good calculation, because every time somebody becomes homeless because they can't pay their energy bills or water bills or rent, or they can't manage all their bills, it may cost tens of thousands of dollars in costs of added shelter and costs of added emergency medical care.
The Real News asked Makhijani if Maryland was taking an economic risk by being the first major producer of offshore wind energy in the U.S. He responded by noting Europe's 25-year experience with offshore wind and the 5 turbines already in use in Rhode Island.
Offshore wind turbines have been operating commercially in Europe since 1991. So it has a 25-plus year track record. 5 turbines went up in Rhode Island last year and started operating. The track record of wind energy now is excellent. Their reliability is excellent. The United States, with 300 million people and the largest technological infrastructure in the world, is nowhere, not because it's not a proven technology or doesn't have a track record, but because the United States has been too timid, too backward, and too beholden to fossil fuel interests to have a real clean energy policy. That is my view.
We would be the first state in the country to make a huge investment in offshore wind, and Baltimore could be the first city in the country to manufacture offshore wind.
But Green says if the project is going to come to fruition, people will have to keep showing their support.
Stay active, and being active doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out here and be in every march. You know, staying active can mean just as simple as just, signing your name to a postcard to tell City Hall that this is something that you support.
The Public Service Commission says it will make its decision by May 17th. The Real News will keep following this story.